Hey Affirmation listeners, I'm thrilled about today's episode because we truly have a special guest with us. Laurina isn't just my best friend, she's also passionate about crystals and currently delving into the world of sound healing. Her positivity is infectious and she has a remarkable gift of inspiring everyone around her. Laurina's dedication to holistic healing has had a profound effect on my life and countless others. Today she is here to share her wisdom and uplifting energy with us all. Welcome to the show, Laurina.
Thanks, Eden. I'm so excited to be here having this chat with you today.
I'm so happy to have you as our first guest on the podcast. Today, I have got you on the podcast to pick your brain about the law of attraction. For my listeners who don't know what the law of attraction is, here is a quick definition. The law of attraction is a belief that positive or negative thoughts bring positive or negative experiences into a person's life. Essentially, it suggests that we have the power to attract what we focus on, whether it's success, love, health, or abundance. Now, let's deep dive into this topic. Can the law of attraction be scientifically explained, or is it more about faith and belief?
Yes, I believe that the law of attraction can be scientifically explained, as well as the faith and belief magnifies it. So if you break down humans, past the skin, past the blood, past the bone, at a core, we're atoms. And atoms are always vibrating at a frequency. So if you take the law of attraction and look at it like magnets, when you have a positive and a negative next to each other, they'll never be able to touch. When you have a positive and a positive next to each other, even if they're not touching, they will pull each other in. That's what happens with us. So we are a beacon. Our atoms are always vibrating at a frequency. That frequency is often decided by the thoughts going on in our head as well as our heart. And this is why the positive words or negative words that we have going on in our head or in our hearts with our beliefs is what we'll be attracting into our lives as we push through our day-to-day grime.
So what you're saying is practice what you do want, not what you don't want.
Yes. Another way of looking at it is wherever your attention goes, energy flows.
I love that. I see that all the time. How were you introduced to the law of attraction?
From an old manager of mine when I was in my early 20s. She gave me a set of CDs by a man named Mike Dooley. I believe it was labeled How to Leverage the Universe. And it gave me a set of really tangible steps on things I could implement in my day-to-day life that utilized making sure that my speech as well as my thoughts were aligned for my highest good.
How do you differentiate between wanting something and being aligned and ready for that belief to come true?
I can share a story with you of when my head and my heart weren't exactly aligned, but I've worked it out now. When I was younger, in primary school actually, I had decided I really wanted to be having children at the age of 23. At the age of 23, I was engaged. I could see though at the time that he was not going to make a great father. And even though I could have fallen pregnant then, I decided to go on contraception and stop it. Even though having children is something I still really want, and I'm now in my mid-30s without them, I haven't given up hope. But what I have realized is that just having a baby isn't enough. My heart is open now to help me realize that I actually want a solid partner so that I can have the full family unit. And now that I've had this realization, I've spent time over the last 2 years really working on myself and making sure that I'm in a great place so that I can be a really good partner. I'm someone that I like spending time with. I don't need someone else to make me happy. I have worked out how to do this for myself, and I believe now I will find a partner who is also able to do these things for himself so that we can have a strong relationship as individuals, not as a toxic codependent relationship. Once I find him, then he and I will be joined long term and be able to grow the family and have the whole family unit that my heart desires, because my heart's desire is stronger than my head's wants.
It's amazing that you could recognize that you wanted kids, but you want to have that family unit more.
Well, it took a long time for me to realize that that's what I was aiming for. And it took a lot of self-work and, dealing with my traumas and my shadows. It's not an easy task working on yourself, and I commend anyone and everyone that does it.
It sounds like you can really harness the power of positive mindsets.
It's taken a long time, but I have really brainwashed myself into always finding the positive in every situation I find myself in.
Well, that's a great segue into this question. How can someone maintain a positive mindset when faced with setbacks or challenges?
So just recently I had a trip to Spain where it was my third solo trip. I missed public transport on more than one occasion whilst I was sitting waiting for the public transport. The third time that I thought it was happening, I was running late to the bus and I paid over €120 to get a cab. Once I got to the station, the bus never arrived and I couldn't find anybody to speak to me and explain to me what was going on. I felt my world crumbling around me. I was so upset with myself. Tears were pouring out of me. It was also my birthday that day, and I just was really beside myself. So what I do in those moments now, because when your energy is that high and your emotions are that raw, what you're thinking about is what you're pulling into your field really strongly. So instead of sitting and wallowing in my sadness, I acknowledge my sadness, I acknowledge my anger. There's a mantra that I really like to use that goes, all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory. And I sit there in my tears, repeating it to myself constantly until the tears stop and I start feeling better.
Can you just say that mantra one more time for everyone?
All of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory.
I love that. So powerful. Do you feel like when you say that, you feel an immediate sense of relief, or is it kind of like, as you say it a couple of times, your body can kind of release the tension and the sadness or the stress or whatever the emotion you're feeling?
When I'm in those moments of really high emotional turmoil, I have to repeat it consistently, and it's like I'm brainwashing myself into feeling better rather than just sitting and wallowing in the sadness.
I love it. It's the fake it till you make it.
Exactly.
So jumping into a topic that has come about in the last couple of years, how does social media play into the law of attraction?
As we said earlier, where attention goes, energy flows. So what we are paying attention to on social media is really feeding what we're attracting into our life. So I, on purpose, follow pages that give me positive posts, as well as spiritual healers, or I do like, the funny videos and the plant stuff. The thing is, with having great people that you follow that put up positive posts come to you at the time that you need to see them. So I had a great one come across my screen the other day, and it said, the right doors won't open for you until you are the version of yourself that's supposed to walk through them. And I think that's a great explanation of what's going on with the law of attraction, because unless you're vibrating at the right frequency for your innermost desires, then, those doors are not going to be open for you.
Yeah, and I mean, going back to your having kids, like that door could have opened for you, but you weren't ready for it with that person.
No, and each partner that I had after the person I was with when I was 23 exhibited the same traits that he did, because I wasn't a healed person. I was still finding the same traumatized man. So it's not until you fix you and what's going on with you, your heart, your mind, that you then will attract something different into your life.
I can't keep saying I love it, but everything you say, and every time she talks to me about this stuff, I always just have that little thing in me where I'm like, yes, go, love it, love what you're saying, getting it in. So we're coming to the end of the episode, and I wanted to ask you 2 questions. What affirmation theme would you suggest for our listeners to bring positive energy into their lives?
I will choose the theme divine timing. One of my favorite quotes to say is that everything happens in perfect timing, and it's your job to work out why. So when things go wrong and you miss a train, or you get fired from a job, or a relationship ends, it's your job to look at, why is this happening today? Why did it not happen a month ago or a week from now? Because it's when you have hindsight and you look back at the steps that you've taken to get to where you are today, you can see that, well, if I didn't meet that person and I didn't go to that place, then I wouldn't have been here, and it all makes sense. So by having faith in divine timing and making the most of the present moment that is right now, then what you are doing is setting yourself up to win more and more in the future.
I'm going to leave you with one last question. If you had to pick one, what song boosts your mood the best?
I love starting my day with a song by Chris and T called Wake Up. And I think everybody should start their day with a lounge room boogie, because it shakes off any bad vibes and gets you in a high vibration, and that sets the tone for the rest of your day.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your insights and experiences with us today, Laurina. Your wisdom on the law of attraction is truly inspiring. And to all our listeners, I hope you have found this discussion enlightening and motivating. As we wrap up this episode of Affirmation Aussie, I hope you are feeling inspired and ready to embrace the positive changes in your life. Remember, the power of a positive mindset can transform your life one thought at a time. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow us, leave us a review, or share it with others who you think could do with a little extra positivity in their lives. Until next time, stay positive, stay empowered, and keep being that best version of yourself.